Today in Media Society class, we talked about consent. Consent basically pertaining to the homogeneity of our basic thought process and how we construct our perspectives into reality. We focus on the basic parts of culture, power, and ideology. He told us to focus culture on text and power on control, and ideology, he referred that to beliefs, not just ideas, principles, morals. Culture, he explained culture as the basic norms of our society, what we're used to. As he talked about this, I thought about, it's the same old. Black people thinking that the white man is in supremacy. It's even in our textbooks. And it goes back to culture, like far as slaves and how the white person controlled blacks and had them to formulate this land and help organize the productivity of our society. I mean, use them for cheap labor. They used a lot of people for cheap labor. They used women for cheap labor. They used, their women for cheap labor. And other minorities they used to get ahead and, continue to industrialize society. The consent of what they do in the media and how they transcribe their messages and give us a depiction of how they want us to feel by how they manipulate and critique and add or delete and embellish and enhance and foreshadow what is going on in society to have us feel a certain of what's being done every day, even in places that we don't see because they are not as technology savvy to broadcast what's going on. We don't hear what's going on in Africa all the time, every day. Some things link in that grabs local stories attention, local news attention, and they expose it in local news. And then you have some big named news people who are up on that all the time. But the gatekeeper I have learned allows certain information to flow in and show us what's going on and their perspective. The gatekeeper is the person that controls the flow of information. It's information that goes on every day that we don't know about unless somebody says it. But even if they say it, who's going to say it again? Who's going to repeat it? Who's going to keep it to themselves? When are they going to say it? When are they going to let it leak out? I read that it's not what society tells us is what they don't tell you. And that's what statistics. It's not what statistics tell you, it's what they don't tell you. Like, people know information and they don't say anything. They want to keep it to themselves. And I believe that's how and why black people as a whole are not prospering, because any bit of information that's important and necessary for someone else, a lot of times you don't hear it. You know, it's plenty of stories, like, I called about one thing and I got to 3, 4, 5 different people who didn't even know the answer. Like, I just kept getting the runaround. Like, that's how it is. That's how it is in society. People keep giving us the runaround because of the information that they're trying to hold for profit, for keeping their job, for all kinds of reasons, just to be able to live in society and be able to function and to be able to have that yacht and have that beach house and have that nice car over there, and society has really taken a turn on our character. Character belongs to religious beliefs. It belongs to the ideology of the spectrum of that it just belongs to the idea of ideology. Character. Culture belongs to the ideology of orientation, what you're used to, how you was brought up, your traditions, your function and your family's function in society, your upbringing. Power comes to us as what you know, who you know, how much you have, But you still have to have knowledge. You still have to have knowledge to have power. Because even though you have the right money, all the money in the world is not going to buy you it's not going to buy your mind to think who I need to do this, who I need to go to do this, It's character. It's the favor. It's the favor of God. I don't believe that I should feel inferior to no man. I am not inferior to no man. The white man controls this world. The white man is educated. That's his power. Education is his power. Power that he educated himself to get to the top. And how a lot of black people just stick to one culture, and stick to one ideology, and not expand for higher learning, not expand for self-fulfillment and self-understanding. It's just they done isolated themselves or insulated themselves, so they isolate themselves, and now they die for the lack of knowledge. And they adapt this thought process that the white man runs the world. What is that? Good afternoon, everyone. I am going to continue on the class discussion about social construction. We focused on history today. I learned that Soul Train was the longest show catered to culture of black people, and how it's been around since 1971. It ended in 2006, and many other programs started to follow that that conception of putting black culture into a better light later on in the 1980s. In class, I kind of named the shows that I was brought up on, like the Cosby Show, Family Matters. I remember watching Amen a few times, The Jeffersons. I watched what's the guy with JJ? I forget that show. Anyway, when he was like Dynamite, I don't know. I forgot the name of that show. I didn't really like that show. I couldn't really get into that show, but Bill Cosby, The Cosby Show, that was a good depiction of black people being educated, having a nice civilized family in a good, clean learning environment. Not very hostile, very loving and friendly and fun. Basically how white people in their culture have depicted themselves since the beginning of time. He also allowed us to, brought our attention to a famous show that was called Leave It to Beaver. And Leave It to Beaver was very famous, and it gave us a depiction of white class and how they acted and dressed among their suburb area. The white family values, the white culture family values, because I also learned that the United States is the biggest export for the United States is culture. I didn't know that. I'm thinking agriculture, technology, weapons, stuff like that, or I don't know, paper or something like that. But in fact, our teacher informed us that it is culture. And culture is a good export because we are diverse in every way. We have different parts of the United States that believe in this and dress like that and interested in this. And because we are so wealthy with opportunities and materialistic things, that makes the culture even blossom even more, because now we are exposed to other countries and other places that may lack those kind of resources, which makes us supreme and high demand, because we set the trend for something new. We are innovators. We're pioneers. We're constantly changing and shifting and developing and globalizing our ideas, ideology, and power and culture. So that was pretty good to learn.